Please tell us more about your experience this past year with Todd Combs and Ted Weschler. What did they do well, and did they make any mistakes? And please discuss how you compensate them a bit more. In an interview, you said that Todd Combs was well compensated for the performance of his stock picks last year. Should we be worried about a short-term horizon for compensation?
We've always been much more concerned about how a record is achieved than the precise record itself. And with both Todd and Ted, Charlie and I were struck by not only a good record, but intellectual integrity, qualities of character, a real commitment to Berkshire, a lifelong type commitment. And we've seen hundreds and hundreds of good records in our lifetimes. We haven't seen very many people we want to have join Berkshire. But these two are perfect. And we pay them each a salary of $1 million a year, and we give them 10% of the amount by which their portfolios beat the S&P, so that if they beat the S&P by 10 points, they get 1 point, for example, and we get 9 points. But we do it on a 3-year rolling basis so that you don't get the seesaw effect. And each one gets paid 80% based on their own efforts and 20% based on the other person's, so that they have every incentive to operate in a collaborative way rather than sit there jealously guarding their own ideas and hoping the other guy doesn't do very well. So I don't think we could have a better structure. It's the same structure on pay, basically, that we had with Lou Simpson for 20-some years, except he did not have a partner. To the extent that they employ people underneath them, that comes out of their performance record. And it's worked far better than either Charlie and I had hoped, and we had pretty high hopes. We had $1.75 billion with each of them at year end, but we've added another billion each on March 31st, so they're running $2.75 billion apiece. I don't look at what they do. I see it eventually when I look at a GEICO portfolio at the end of the month or something of the sort. But they operate through their own brokers. They don't. I've told them that the only thing I want to know is if they're getting into a new name, I just want to know the name so that I'm certain that it isn't something that I am familiar with some inside information on or something, so that there's no inadvertent appearance that we would be, or that their purchase would have been influenced by something that I knew about. That's never come up. They can't. If there's something we would have to file a 13D on, they would have to check with you. But basically, none of that's going to happen. Never happened with Lou either. I mean, they operate in different stocks. They've got a much bigger universe than I have, because they're working with $2.75 billion instead of $150 billion. So they can look at a lot more things. And they've cheerfully pitched in for other duties that they don't really get compensated directly on, but that are helpful to Berkshire. And they'll do a great job for Berkshire when they're running a whole lot more money than they are now. Ted only joined us this year. Todd did substantially better than the S&P last year, so he racked up a big performance gain, a third of which was paid to him in the first year, but the 2 years is deferred, and he could lose that back if he were to underperform. And so I think we've got a good system and terrific people. Charlie?
Well, what's interesting about it is that at least 90% of the investment management business of the United States would starve to death on our formula. And I think these people will do pretty well with it. So, yeah. And not only that, they'll be terrific for the long pull for Berkshire. They're the kind of people we like having around headquarters.
Yeah, I hope they get into those 400 taxpayers I mentioned. But if they do, even under the present law, they'll be paying taxes in the mid-30s. They are doing what they did before, which they ran hedge funds, but they're going to work every day thinking about the same things, and they get taxed at 35% plus, and if they were running hedge funds, they get taxed at 15%. And for all of those in the audience who can reconcile that, there'll be a free dilly bar.
I think each of them could earn more money in a different format, but with a less desirable lifestyle.
Yeah, we have a little free Coke machine at our
Yes.
office.